और उसमें क्या वो कराने वाले हो? अच्छा ठीक है।
Hi Kuntal.
Hello sir, good morning sir.
Morning.
मैं सर किसी सर को ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ।
People are ready to come.
Hello sir. Hello.
How about the external people? Are they joining?
Yes sir, they are. They will join for time to time.
How about your students?
They will be on live through. They will see the total program on YouTube and Facebook. They will not connect through Google Meet.
So this is connected to, you said Facebook?
Yeah, this is connected to Facebook. It is already in live in Facebook and as well as in through YouTube also.
Okay. Just inform to VC sir also. Kuntal, just inform VC also.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
I think Sunil has gone there.
Yes sir. I'm calling Sunil sir. Sir, this is sir, right?
ये कौन दिख रहा है? टेस्ट टेस्ट। चलो स्टार्ट कर फटाफट।
Very good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, audible?
Hello.
Hello, sir, audible? Is it audible?
किसी की नहीं आ रही है।
Hello.
हेलो, हाँ कुंतल जी।
हाँ sir, audible? Hello, sir, is it audible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good morning and welcome to the Sangam University, Bhilwara, Rajasthan. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today and welcome you to this amazing community. If you are anything like I was when I started, and you are sitting there feeling a million different emotions and asking yourself a million the oath of sacrifice I have made to get here? Absolutely. And perhaps, as you have already heard, you are not the admissions mistake. In fact, I can assure each and every one of you that you are here because you deserve to be, and because you can bring something new and exciting to this diverse learning community. So, welcome you all, the new students for the session 2020-21 to Sangam University. We welcome you all. When our respected Deputy Dean Dr. Sunil sir asked me to speak to you this morning, I began wondering about what advice would have been most useful to me during my first year. And I decided the best thing to do was to ask some of you requested that I talk about what has made my experience at university, colleges, and so memorable. And so this morning, I do just that. So, dear friends, let me share one experience of mine. I, like so many others, eagerly awaited the arrival of final book in the Harry Potter series, and I revised my copy ahead of time, and I arrived on my doorstep at 8:30 a.m. the Saturday it was released, and I immediately began reading, and 2 days later I was done. But I was disappointed when it was over, so I started to watch the Harry Potter movies again, and I did so. I recognized similarities between Harry Potter's educational experiences at the university college educations. If there are some of you who have not yet read Harry Potter, I encourage you to do so. Also embody my experience. Let me explain. First, transformation. I imagine some of you are just like me in that you have arrived knowingly exactly what you want to study and intend to stay focused on the topic. I think that's great. But I also encourage you to be open to new ideas, experiences, and directions. You are learning from the greatest in the field and with the best and the brightest surrounding you will undoubtedly be challenged to think about new topics and view old topics in a new days. You never know when something might pique your interest. I also arrived convinced that I was not an academic but a researcher. Last week, I completed one draft of my others for an academic enhancement, and I have seen these transformations happen many times. And I imagine you will be witness to them as well. If not, those challenges, I have become a different person because I was. Now, second one is community. Look around you. The people sitting in this room will be friends, your colleagues, perhaps most importantly, your partners. Don't hesitate to call upon them when you need to. And personally and professionally, they will be your best source of support. They will help you make the most of your experience here. And I guarantee there will be times when you wonder why you are there. That's natural. But the people in this room and on the campus will be there to remind you of the reasons. The relationship you develop here with the faculty, staff, and students will also help you build your career. You are all here because you want to become the movers, the shakers of the future. I urge you to make this happen by meeting new people, tapping into new resources, and joining the Sangam University community. The benefits will follow you forever. And the third one is development. Just as I eagerly awaited the arrival of the last book of Harry Potter's story, I eagerly await graduation and the next chapter of my life. But just as I was disappointed when I finished regarding the book, I know I will also be saddened when I leave the amazing community of scholars and friends behind. There is no other place quite like Edu School. I hope you find this to be true as well. And I conclude by offering you some simple advice for how to make the best of your experience here at university. Share your knowledges, skills. Don't keep them to yourself. Challenge yourself and your peers on a daily basis and practice. Absorb everything and above all, have fun. As a boy, Harry Potter was told he had the power to change the lives of all individuals in the wizarding community. You too have the power to change people's lives, the lives of students, faculty, and staff in the public education system. And I took forward to doing this with you. Best of luck to each and every one of you. Thank you. And once again, I welcome you all to the Sangam University banner. So here, in our International Induction Program to building the foundations of strategies, and we welcome you all, Professor Sally Wendy, sir. Hello, sir. We welcome you all. Sir, just your mic is off, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. We welcome, in the behalf of Sangam University, we welcome Professor Varakamal Vestri, ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am, please, your mic is off.
Hello, yes.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
Invitation and with honor to be here today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I would like to invite Dr. Sunil sir to as a welcome note for our International Induction Program. Sunil sir.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Kuntalji. Once again, thank you, Kuntalji. Very glorious good morning to everyone, and welcome today's session. Allow me to welcome you all an international webinar on building the foundation of strategic and winning newcomer mindset. Of Sangam University, Professor K.P. Yadav. Sir, without your support and encouragement, this event would not have been possible. Welcome, sir. It's honored to have you. I also welcome Professor Akhilesh Kumar, Advisor Sangam University, ex-professor, MIT Ceylon. His personal academic achievement are the source of motivation for us. We really appreciate your presence and it's an honor to have you. First of all, on the behalf of Sangam University and the Department of Computer Science, I welcome the Honorable speakers, Dr. Celestine Evendi, Senior Member IEEE Asean BCC of Central South University, China. Welcome, sir. Mrs. Ave Julia Vasco, International Speaker and Academic Advisor, the English Academy of Language, Greece, and Dr. University of Technology, North Bangkok, Thailand. I'm really especially thankful to all because when we approached them with an invitation and request him to grace our function, they instantly agreed, even they have very busy schedule. Once again, on the behalf of Sangam University and Department of Computer Science, welcome you all. We really appreciate your presence, ma'am and sir. It's honored to have you. A warm word of welcome to Dr. O.P. Gupta, Registrar of Sangam University. We really appreciate your presence, sir.
Thank you.
And I also welcome all my dean, deputy dean, professors, colleagues, and dear students for sparing their valuable time and come here and participate in this event. I'm really appreciate to all. On the behalf of Sangam University, again, heartily welcome you. And also I welcome for those who just joining us, welcome. We are waiting some listen to motivational words. So now I'm pleased to invite Mr. Kuntal ji. Go ahead.
Yeah. Without wasting any time, I would like to invite our respected Registrar Sir, Sangam University Registrar Sir, Dr. O.P. Gupta Sir, for his valuable thoughts on post-COVID-19 impact strategies. Registrar Sir, I welcome you in this prestigious event on the topic of post-COVID-19 impact strategies in education sector India.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Kuntal. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is audible. Thank you.
Respected Honorable VC Vice Chancellor Professor K.P. Yadav, sir, Sangam University, Professor Ivendi, Professor Wesley, Professor Akhilesh Kumar ji, Dr. Sunil Kumar, Professor Kuntal Barwa, and my other colleagues and his dignitaries. On this occasion, it is my privilege to be present my views in front of you on this topic, which Dr. Kuntal already told you. Nowadays, everybody is worried about the impact of this COVID-19 pandemic. How can we stay relevant? In what way we can contribute as individual, as an academician? As we know, the present Indian education system is the most diverse and largest in the world, having more than 15 lakh schools and around 50,000 higher educational institutions. The pandemic has significantly disrupted the higher education sector of the country, or we can say of the world. All the educational institutes closed temporarily in the month of March due to this pandemic as a measure to control the spread of the novel coronavirus. Till now, there is no certainty when they will reopen. The schools and universities closures will not only have a short-term impact on the continuity of learning for 250 million younger learners of the country, but also create far-reaching economic and societal consequences. The structure of schooling and learning, including teaching and assessment methodologies, was the first to be affected by these closures. Only a handful of institutions could adopt online teaching method, but rest have completely shut down for not having access to e-learning solutions. The students missed the opportunity of learning and feeling economic and societal stress. Every year, a number of Indian students enroll in foreign universities, especially in the countries worst affected by the pandemic. For example, US, UK, Australia, and China. Many such students have now been barred from leaving these countries. If the situation persists in the long run, a decline in the demand for international education is expected. The bigger concern on everybody's mind is the effect of the disease on the employment rate. Recent graduates in India are fearing withdrawal of job offers from corporate because of the current situation. The Center for Monitoring Indian Economics estimates on unemployment sort of from 8.4% in mid-March to 23% in April, and the urban employment rate to 30.9%, almost 31%. It's a matter of serious concern. Needless to say, the pandemic has transformed the centuries-old chalk talk teaching model to one driven by technology. This disruption in the delivery of education is pushing policymakers to figure out how to drive engagement at scale while ensuring inclusive e-learning solutions and tackling the digital divide. A multi-pronged strategy is necessary to manage the crisis and build a resilience in Indian education system in the long term. Some of them are: first, immediately measures are essential to ensure continuity of learning in schools and universities. Open source digital learning solutions and learning management software should be adopted so that teachers can conduct teaching online effectively. Second thing, inclusive learning solutions need to be developed, especially for the most vulnerable and marginalized category. With a rapid increase of mobile internet users in India, which is expected to reach 85% households by 2024, technology enabling everywhere access and personalization of education. Even in the remotest part of the country, this can change the schooling system and increase the effectiveness of learning and teaching, giving students and teachers multiple options to choose from. The next is also important to reconsider the current delivery and pedagogical methods in school and higher education institutions by seamlessly integrating classroom learning with e-learning models to build a unified learning system. Next is Indian traditional knowledge is well known across the globe for its scientific innovation, values, and benefits to develop sustainable technology and medicines. The courses of Indian traditional knowledge in the field of yoga, Indian medicines, architecture, hydraulics, metallurgy, and agriculture should be integrated with a present-day mainstream university education to serve the larger cause of the humanity. In this time of crisis, a well-rounded and effective educational practice is needed for capacity building of young minds. It will develop skill and will drive their employability, productivity, health, and well-being in the decades to come and ensure the overall progress of India. Friends, all we understand very well that health is wealth. Nothing is precious than health. So we must care ourselves, our families, our society, and our country. Moreover, all over the world. At last, I'm going to conclude my speech with the famous quote of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore: faith in the world that feels the light when the dawn is still dark. The darkness that looms over the world at this moment is the curse of the COVID-19 pandemic, while the bird of human freedom finds itself caged under lockdown, unable to fly, enthused by the beacon of hope. Human beings will soon start making a passage of a SR future of the humanity. Thank you for listening me patiently. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite our advisor, sir, Professor Dr. Akhilesh Kumar, sir, advisor Sangam University, for his valuable words on post-COVID situations in higher education. Hello, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Oh, yes, I'm getting you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kuntal, Sunil, both of you. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sangam University. Honorable Professor Celestine. Hey, Celeste, how are you? Are you getting me?
Yes, I could hear you clearly. Thank you.
Great. Professor Wakamal. Hey, ma'am, how are you? Professor Wakamal. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. Your voice is clear.
Okay, that's good. Mrs. Evangela, are you there?
No, sir. She will join with us afterwards.
Okay. And all my team members here, faculty members, and of course my loving students. It's really a very important day for all of us today when we are trying to share our experience with these budding technocrats. And at the foundation stage, what Kuntal was talking about, that how to really make that strategic mindset. That is the key point here, which I would like to throw some light on that. Friends, I will quote one example. You all know about a company, Boeing. This is an aircraft manufacturing company in the United States. I was that time, professor of management of technology at MIT Boston. And Boeing was, failing to sustain in the competition. And the entire strategy fell down on other grounds. Vis-a-vis the competition with Airbus. And there was a very simple problem that they could not use the technology strategically. So, a high-level committee was formed by Boeing, and we said that, okay, we are forming a group of students from the computer science department and from the mechanical department. They will carry out the research and go ahead with the right solution. We provided them that your supply chain management is very much defective, and so with the help of technology, we initiated that advanced supply chain design, and we really implemented. What you see Boeing today is probably the gift given by that time by our students and a group of faculty, including me, for designing this supply chain, particularly for an acquisition of an order from the operator, airlines operators, and finally providing them the finished aircraft. Friends, the role of strategy comes here at this foundation stage is very, very important. I think our international experts also will agree that every year there are 3 or 4 major technologies emerging in this world. Now, if one major technology comes, it gives rise to hundreds of products and services, and thereafter thousands of new organizations are formed in the world. If that is so, I'm just informing my loving students that you're going to run this organization. You're going to be the integral part of these organizations. So start your foundation strategically at this moment, as when you are joining this computer science engineering of Sangam University. I think it's really, you have taken the very right decision that the entire world and the new technologies coming in the world will be merged into your syllabus and will be taught through your research, design, development, industry linkages, and finally, how strategically you set your mindset that which is your core competency on the basis of which you will develop yourself for your futuristic career. This is very, very important. And probably this is one important thing which the leading institutions of the world, they are training their students. Either they create the knowledge domains or the skill development, and they make them really available, mostly 90% ready to take up such challenging assignments in the corporate world, or even for the society, even for the governance. So your valuable productivity as a practicing engineer, it will lead the entire country and the world, the human mankind, together, irrespective of the diverse culture, diverse system of working. Here, let me remind that once I was at AIT, Asian Institute of Technology, and I was just sharing my things with the faculty members there. The similar thing came up there, that how we can use strategically these technocrats, their mindset, to really sustain in the competition in the rest of the world. And so accordingly, there was a huge batch of technocrats going for the management education there. They really participate. They designed their curriculum syllabus in such a way that, yes, they were ready for So whether it was for the manufacturing segment, whether it was for the research and development segment, whether it was for something like, when you go to the industrial segment like, oil and gas, maybe the aviation sector, satellite communications, and, irrespective of all other, different industrial segments. So friends, the role of students now, it's very, very challenging. You have to come up with the real skill. Go to the micro level, develop those skills in you, and make yourself available to face the challenges of the world. Anyone who is afraid to face the challenge cannot become a perfect engineer or manager. Henceforth, the thumb rule is what I believe: you got to prove your credential. How will you prove your credential? Is the one that for such sustainability, you have to design yourself, your development plan in this 4 years in such a way that you become master of at least one area. That will help you to reach the span of control at the fastest rate. In just 10 to 12 years, you must be able to lead any organization. Bring the new technologies. Go for the new market segmentations. Consumer basis. So somewhere, the stability will come through sustainability. And sustainability, the very input point is that you must have the core competency available out of your entire this 4 years program here in Sangram University. Friends, a lot of new technology. I think many of you must have heard about Internet of Things, IoT, data analytics itself. It's a huge thing coming in the world. Another important thing is that you go for the something like, artificial intelligence. Now, I'll go to an example that Internet of Things. I was talking to one of my friends at University of Stanford. He said, this IoT technology is being utilized to develop such processors in such a way that less minimum power consumptions, or rather less power is consumed by the processor. And particularly when we talk about the satellite communications, different countries are launching new satellites. Now there are hundreds of processors being utilized for different functions. So why not use that nano processor instead of the processors being utilized, because that can use more power, and that is also hazardous. So to this extent, I request the students to come up with the new ideas. Discuss among yourselves. Discuss with your mentors, your faculty. Prepare one important strategy which is the field which is really building that core into you. And this was fully supported by the present Dean of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Dr. Aronson. And he told me that this is the way now in this 21st century, he is developing their students or training their students, scaling their students so that they are ready for facing such challenges, taking up such challenges or assignments in the world wherever they are, keeping all the safety precautions in hand. So friends, integrate yourself in such a way that you come up. See, the robotic itself, That is wide, quite wide area. I said about IoT, Internet of Things. I talked about artificial intelligence, data analytics, another important thing. Many of you can expert. There's a lot of huge demand in the global market. So if you have to sustain or improve or create the value chain, that will be, the outcome will be, you will create the value for the national economy and for the, global human mankind as a whole, holistically. Friends, for this, I was just noting down few points which I would like to add here, that how you can really, go ahead with in this entire 4 years. So 4 things which I would like, I think, sorry, Professor Celestine, Professor Wakmal, I think they all will agree with this, that nowadays preparing the students, it's not very easy. It's not very easy. There are a lot of psychological barriers coming in preparing a true engineer ready to face the challenges. So let's go for the new strategic mode. What is that? Let's have that, something scientific discovery mode. Scientific discovery mode of teaching and learning. This will help the students something beyond their expectations. So they will select which field is really suiting them. Second point, I was noting down that applications of knowledge, whatever knowledge out of scientific discovery one has acquired, they have to put into applications, right? And these knowledge domain will help them when they go for the practice. And third important thing is, that entrepreneurial mindset. That again, they have to think about that. This is my work, and whether I'm working, I'm an independent entrepreneur, starting with my own project, or working as a corporate entrepreneur, working as an engineer or manager in some organization. So that entrepreneurial mindset on the different type of projects. And the fourth important thing is that they must grow. They must discuss through the constant seminars. And so holistically, the conclusion is that they will generate through a simple model, which I have designed for the global student. This normally I shared at the Harvard Business School, at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, both engineering and management, at Stanford, University of Columbia. I went to London Business School and many others, Sterling, a model which I'm sharing first time with you all students. I would be, of course, continuously going ahead with that particular model. Now, what is that? There are a few components you should know about. Grow, create, generate, change, and innovate. So these 5 important components, it really makes the future a very much safe, rather, and you will be playing a truly like a global engineer, a global manager, and global personality. And that's how I learned. My guru, Peter Drucker, he said once that failures are not that you are simply disappointed. Do you know? Once he failed. He wrote a book, he failed. He worked in a company for 9 months to learn the actual pains of the engineers and managers. And then he rewrote the book for the practicing managers. That became a boom in the international world. Right? And probably that was the one theme I carried out my research work in the early 80s when I was there in the United States, when Reagan was the president. So under the chairmanship of Peter Drucker, I carried out a very comprehensive research to improve the US economy vis-a-vis Japanese competition. This is a huge thing. I will share with you all later on. So friends, again, there I took two important things. One is education sector, and another one is that management of technology in manufacturing. And what you see in the United States today, it was the outcome of that particular policy framework which we generated. And many of you, if you happen to visit White House anytime, and if you go to the technical cell, you will find my young, I was quite young that time, my photograph along with President Reagan, Peter Drucker, and all my 6 members. So friends, it's all, I'm truly excited. You all are sharing a lot of things today. But I want you really that the perfection should come in you through these certain guiding principles, what this university or the Department of Computer Science has set forth. Develop that strategy and mindset that where you want to be in time to come. And so we are ready to provide you the best education, which we practice here, object-based education, so that in time to come, you explore the new heights in your future, in your career, as an engineer, as a manager, or a leader, as a global personality. So that's how you have to formulate the strategy, and you are learning this at a very first are here. They will share a lot of things with you. They will guide you. Please follow that, and let's move in that direction. So I heartily thank you all students. I heartily thank Professor Celestine, Professor Workman, and also Mrs. Evangela, and in particular now Dr. Sunil, Dr. Barua, and my Honorable Vice Chancellor, and the team of faculty members of Sangam University. So thank you very much. I shall close hereby, and I will hand over the mic to Professor Barua. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable aspects of post-COVID-19 situations in higher education. Now, I would like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Dr. K.P. Yadav, sir, for his valuable thoughts in strategic management. Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Our Honorable Advisor, Professor Akhilesh ji, already has given a very well speech that outcome-based education and how to handle this pandemic. Thanks, sir, very much. Our registrars are also focuses on the issues. Dr. O.P. Gupta already has given some aspect of that. Our invited speakers, Professor Celestine from Bangalore College, China, Central South University. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good morning from Sweden.
Welcome. Welcome.
Okay. Okay.
Another professor, Workmal Vaistari from King Mong Court University of Technology, Thailand. Good afternoon, ma'am. Dr. Orak Mall. Good morning, good afternoon. Another speaker, international speaker.
Please
Mr.
unmute, ma'am. Please
Hi,
unmute.
can you hear me?
yeah, getting. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon. Nice to meet you guys. And thank you so much for invitation me, for today. Yes.
On this day. Another speaker, Mrs. Evangela Rao from that is the international speaker on academic and advisor, the English Academy of Language, Greece. Good afternoon, ma'am. I think that it's not looking here. It may be connected later on, I think so. And our university colleagues, Dr. Sunil Kumar Yadav, Deputy Dean of the Department, Mr. Kuntal Barua, Organizing Secretary of this International Induction Program, other faculty and staff members of the university, and finally, my dear students. First of all, I would like to congratulate and convey our best wishes to the Sangha University and especially the team of Kuntal and Dr. Sunil, who take this opportunity and taken this challenge to conduct the International Induction Program on these issues, building the foundation of strategic and winning newcomer mindsets. Everyone knows, I think so, this time throughout the world is suffering from the pandemic, COVID-19. And as a strategy planning or a strategic management and leadership is concerned, I think this issue, this challenge is taken differently by the different countries, by their president, by their prime minister, and by their leaders of that country. Though the problem is the same, but the way of handling the situation is different. Someone has done the complete lockdown, some has done the partial lockdown, and some countries have no lockdown so far. But they are handling very well. So I would like to salute to all the countries, especially their leaders and their leadership skills, their managerial skills for that. As it's required the development of the infra and medical facilities, we know very well. Earlier, some countries were having very less production of masks, production of sanitizers, etc. But now each and every country is going to be the self-reliant. India called is that Atmanirbhar Bharat. The same thing is for all, I think so. And self-reliant not only in terms of the medical facilities, in other kind of facilities like the production of the each and everything, even in terms of the industrial production also, each and every country is doing well. As we are concerned with the professionalism, we are going for the online education, that is also a planned case. And the industry professionals, they are doing the online, I think, webinars and in discussion of their day-to-day activities. This time, one of the thought among us is always there, which is the best solution in such a situation like the pandemic or the COVID-19 which we are facing, and what is the best option for day-to-day activities, not only in education, in the industry, in the production, in running our the system of the country, each and every country. So I would like to discuss you today PPT. Just I would like to share the things. Just wait.
ทำไมมันก็ยินไม่เหมือนตลอดอะของฉันเหรอมันได้ยินเหรออ้าวปิดเสียงก่อน
This is shared or not?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
It is visible.
Yes, sir.
अभी जरा मीटिंग में बात करते हैं। अरे कमलेश से बात करो ना एडमिशन। Strategic leadership, basically each and every one future when the uncertainties are coming, that is strategic planning, and you have to see, you have to I think make intuition of that, of your future, then you can plan accordingly. This is movement circle, as I am sharing with you. First thing is anticipation. What is the going on here? That is the anticipation. Then articulating what needs to happen here. That is the requirement, what needs to happen here. Then aligning the things. How do you make it happen? Not in their own way, as per your planning way. And then assuring, how do we keep making it happen? This is basically a moving circle. Then strategic leader methods. Anticipating is the change, that you can ask the question like that, what is going on here? Then articulating, create the direction, a shared reality, or you can say the set strategies. As our advisors were saying, Professor Claes already said, okay, how you plan your strategies to combat with the situation, that you can ask the question, what needs to happen here? Aligning, that is connect with the people, create conditions for success, remove the barrier, establish trust, asking the question. Now you can ask the question, how do we make it happen? Means you are aligning the situations. Then assuring that focus on the results, that is hire for technical and cultural fit, that is teach the organizations of the POE, that you can ask the question here, how do we keep making it happen? It means anticipation, articulation, aligning and assuring. It is the strategic leadership that you can handle the coming situation. Then accordingly, you make some actions, that you develop the strategy, test and adopt the strategy, monitor and learn, then plan and observations, see the plan and observations, and translate the strategy like that. This is again something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the events, actions. Develop and strategy, translate the strategy, plan the operations, then monitor and learn, and finally test and adopt the strategy. This is a cyclic process. Then come to what is the thinking. Thinking consists of two activities: constructing mental models, then simulating them in order to draw conclusions and make the finally decisions. That is said by the Barry Richmond. Now, minds we need, that is learn, then change, then sense. Now come to the future ahead. Strategic thinking is identifying, imagining, that is imagination, and understanding possible and plausible future operating environments for your organizations. That is the way to get the future. Then integrating the future into your decisions, making processes today by thinking the big, deep, and long way. Means you just not design for the current situation. You have to design for the future situation also. Again, this is a field anticipating, articulating, aligning, and assuring, as we have discussed already. Here, terms come to the agility. Agility means that is to see future, then plan and execute. Of the mind is the core competency that drives the strategic thinking protocol. Mindset, that is the way we think about things. It drives every aspect of our lives, from work to sports, from relationship to parenting. This is the way of mindset. That you can differentiate here: managerial role, guiding questions, outcome, ideas of profit or loss, ideas on competition. We come to the first one, managerial skills. In way of managerial thinking, in way of the strategic thinking, and in way of the entrepreneurial thinking, there is little difference. In case of managerial skills, that is predict what will happen next, target individuals who can help them. But in case of the strategic thinking, navigate by focusing on their identity, knowledge, and relationships. In case of entrepreneurial thinking, pursue ideas and push through reality to create new opportunities. Now, the parameter, if you select the guiding question, then obviously in managerial skills come, what should I do? But in the strategic thinking, what can I do and should I do it? Entrepreneurial thinking, that is, what can I do? Similar to the managerial thinking. In the case of parameter of the outcome, focus on defined strategies to maximize returns. In case of the strategic thinking, focus on share an existing market. Outcome, in case of the outcome, share in existing market, outcomes are fixed. In case of strategic thinking, that is shares in existing markets or creating new markets based on create new market, outcomes are fixed or the limited. Ideas are the profit and loss. Focus on defined strategies to maximize returns. Focus on the maximize returns and affordable loss in the strategic. And entrepreneurial, focus on the affordable loss. Ideas on the competitions, that is another parameter. In managerial thinking, focus on analyzing competition in red or sea. In a strategic thinking, that is focus on both analyzing competition, finding blue oceans, and creating strategic alliances. In entrepreneurial thinking, that is focus on creating strategic alliances and finding blue oceans. So there is little bit difference in way you are handling the parameters as per your thinking of the managerial skills or strategic planning or the entrepreneurial thinking. Now, you see, strategic leadership influences, that is Aristotle rhetorical triangle. You know, emotion, credibility, emotion, and logic. That is ethos, pathos, and logos. That is, you have to make the balance. Common, something is common there. that you have to make the balance. Leadership development continuum, that is self-leadership, operational leadership, business leadership, and then the strategic leadership. You have to work upon this in such a situation: self-leadership, then operational leadership, then business leadership, and finally the strategic leadership. So the situations like this pandemic, the strategic leadership is the one of the best option to find out the solution. To be successful in future, here are the some 10 qualities and skills that leaders will need to learn. One famous book, written by Johnson from California Institute, he has find out some 10 qualities in the leadership. These are termed as a VUCA, word of leadership: volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. This is the situation of the pandemic era. This is the situation of COVID-19. That is handled, that is, you can judge it as a VUCA. That is sensing the proactive future, foresight, insight, and then the action. Same thing here, but here provocation, dilemma, discerning questions, discriminant, faith, choices, and reflection. This is much more detailed discussion of this leadership skills for the future. Due to the shortage of the time, I am not going into the much detail of this. That is ability to exploit your inner drive to build and grow things, as well as connect with others in the making. The challenge is to turn the natural urge to create into a leadership skills, to synchronize the maker instinct of leaders with those of others. Many people don't realize their own maker instinct and potential. It happens usually, as in India says, Hanumanji was not knowing his own strength. It must be recognized, valued, and nurtured if it is to become a leadership skill for the future. Maker instinct is an inner drive to build and grow things. Leaders with maker instinct have a constant desire to improve the organizations around them. This is one of the most requirement into a leadership, inside the leadership. Leaders with the maker instinct are able to approach their leadership with the commitment of a job and the energy of a hobby. At times of the great uncertainty, the maker instinct is what separates the leaders from the powerless. When leaders feel were overwhelmed, they can become passive. When things are chaotic, makers will view the stir of uncertainty as unfrozen opportunities to start making something new. During the uncertainty, you have to create your value. Once you have to create your value, either it is product or your leadership, then I think you can control the situation. Clarity, you know very well, the things should be very, very clear. Ability to see through messes and contradictions to a future that others cannot yet see. you had some foresight that you can see leaders are very clear about what they are making, but very flexible about what it gets made. You have to be flexible also that about what it gets made. Clarity in leadership is the ability to see through messes and contradictions. There may be multiple contradictions, but you have to judge one path among the multiple. See a future that others cannot yet see. It's your dream, your ability to see the future that others people can't see it. Find a viable direction to proceed. You must have one viable direction that you have to choose it, that you can proceed. See hope on the other side of the trouble. Just a proverb in India, ek taraf kuwa, dusri taraf khai. If you follow this, you have the trouble this. If you follow another path, you will find another troubles. Then you have to choose the path which is the best one, having the minimum trouble. So that is your ability, clarity in yourself that you have to see. That is, you know very well, the future will be loaded with contradictions, maybe some contradictions. Clarity requires inner strength and disciplines. Clarity requires great self-knowledge also. Clarity requires external engagement. Clarity requires the flexibility. The best leader will be the clear about their long-term intentions, but very flexible about how to get there. Clarity sets the parameters within which creativity can occur. That has some meaning. Now, dilemma flipping. You know very well, yeah, we know very well. In multiple situations, we find out our mind with the dilemma. But dilemma has to flip. That you have to reduce, you have to vanish the dilemma. Dilemma, that is, leaders like the space between judging too soon and deciding too late. If you are deciding too late, obviously you will have many more losses. It's more volatile, uncertain, complexity and ambiguity that may happen. Leaders must be able to flip dilemmas and find the hidden opportunities. Dilemma flippers turn hopelessness into hope. Leaders who exhibit dilemma flipping will find an opportunity in this tension. That is, they conquer the situation very easy, very well in due time. Immersive leadership ability that is immersive learning ability is the more than the willingness to use online immersions, simulation and gaming. Immersion is close-up engagement in the world that is different from your own, whether it is a virtual world or just a world with which you are not familiar. Immersive learning ability sounds kind of fuzzy logic in mathematics and computer science, fuzzy thesis, fuzzy formulas, fuzzy theory. For a future leadership skill, but depending on where you immerse yourself, experiences like these are likely to be both vivid and deeply memorable. Climate disruption, diasporas or large numbers of people who are forced to move by a storm or this other natural disruption are likely to become more common in the future. That is the immersion during the crisis situation. Bioempathy. Instead of sympathy, you go for the bioempathy. This says ability to see things from nature's point of view. Everyone's now handling the situation from the nature's point of view. Even in India, everyone is saying, improve your immunity system to face the coronavirus. And every time it is repaired, you have to see the nature's point of view. That is the best solution for every engineering problem also. That is the nature point of view. You have to find out the solution. To understand, to respect the nature and learn from nature's pattern. What the pattern of the nature is there, you have to find out your solution. Bioempathy looks at a leadership through a natural filter in search of the underlying biology of each choice. What are the underlying patterns of the nature that could inform how leaders lead? Nature teaches us very well. Everyone knows teaching of nature is the everlast. So we have to respect the nature. If only we are the humans can understand its lessons, that we humans, we can understand very well the nature's teaching, and that we have to follow. Principle of bioempathy, you know very well, I think. Some of our students may not be knowing. So the transparency, grass-based, individuality, community, nature's template, and the earthworms. This is the bioempathy. Ability to calm the tense situation where differences dominate and communication has broken down. You see, in some situations, it happens not only in a family, it happens in the society, it happens in the country, it happens among the leadership also. Ability to calm the tense situations where differences dominate and communication has broken down and bring people from divergent cultures toward constructive engagement. It is the ability of a strategic management and its leadership that handle such situations where the differences may be, where the cultural differences may be, where thought predictions differences may be there. But we have to involve all the people in the constructive engagement, in the constructive management, and we have lead the situation accordingly. So, on this occasion of this International Induction Program for this strategic leadership, I would like to once again, thanks to our invited honorable speakers from the international institutions and our advisors, our registrar, our Deputy Dean Dr. Sunil, and the organizing secretary Mr. Kuntal Barua. It is one of the best situation or best time you can say that we are discussing such things, and you have invited such speakers. So once again, I would like to thanks to convey our thanks on behalf of the Sangam University to all, and convey our best wishes to you all. With these words, thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for your valuable words towards International Induction Program for building the foundations of strategic and winning Newcomer mindsets. So now I would like to invite our guest speakers, Dr. Celestine Wendy, Associate Professor, Senior Member, IEEE, ACM, and BCC of Central South University, China. Hello, sir. We welcome you all. Hello, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. I can hear you. Okay. All right. Is there possibility to share the slides, or you share it later? Okay. Professor Kintua, am I sharing the slide now?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. As we go on with that, good morning from Sweden. Apparently, I'm talking from Sweden because of the COVID-19. So everyone is online. I want to appreciate the president, the vice chancellor of Sangam University, and then the advisor. That was a very good talk and good. I picked out some things when we're talking about the growth, create, generate, change, and innovate. So I picked that from the advisor. That was a good one. I also picked from the vice chancellor, the president, when he was talking about what the students should do about creativity. We actually are in the age of creativity. And I want to also thank Professor Kintua and all the management for the computer science for allowing us to be part of you today. We hope after this, from the president, that we can be part of your school. I'm always I'm a very busy person, having 75,000 people following me on social media, but still, I still bring out time because I found induction, talking to students, as very important. And they need to learn some strategic basis, especially for people like me that have traveled almost everywhere, and live in many places. So it's very nice. So I will be talking today on exploring strengths and weaknesses of Education 4.0 in the higher education institution during COVID-19 or after COVID-19 also. Is very okay. So we'll look at Education 4.0. When you talk about Education 4.0, I will explain those and why this school is doing it and why you as students, those who are coming in, what you need to know, what you need. So I will explore your brain. I will take you up and down of what you expect to know during this course of 4 years. And then it's not to scare you, but to motivate you to reality. Once you understand that, you sit up, and the school will not give you 100% of the knowledge you need. The school is there to be a guide, an angel sent to help you, to give you direction. But as a student, you have to put more effort into what you do. Computer science, especially the area I'm going to talk about, has been upcoming until we are all faced with COVID-19. And when COVID-19 came in, it now became a hot cake. So what you are doing now is a hot cake, hot course. If somebody has told you that you are in computer science, it's not a good field, we are here to tell you it's a big lie. Because now, this course, computer science, and the areas I'm going to speak about are now versatile. That means they operate in every field, from medical to finance, from finance to any part of engineering, to literary area for natural language programming, NLP, to every area of life. So it is much more versatile and much more rewarding. That means to say, getting a job, creating a job becomes twice or doubled by 3, doubled into what you are studying. So you can be a creator, you can also generate, you can create anything you want. And the world has moved into that. So we'll be looking at how is COVID-19 changing this world? The advisor mentioned Internet of Things, IoT. I will also talk about IoT vulnerabilities while we are talking about Education 4.0 now. IoT, how sensors, nodes are connected worldwide. But what are the vulnerabilities? What brought about Education 4.0? Then we'll look at artificial intelligence solution and threats, strengths, and weaknesses. I will also present briefly 10 steps of cybersecurity. I will also present why 10 steps of cybersecurity, what the president of India recently brought out in terms of leading the country into security system that is one to be mentioned in the world. I saw it last week and I decided to add it to the slide. So when you get the slides, you will see the 10 steps, and also the 12 steps of the area where your country, India, is moving into, which is a big encouragement to this department that the president of India, they have a very good plan to make sure computer science and the things we discuss in computer science become the point mark of the country. So if they're able to develop it the way he said, I listened and I saw and I picked the slide, that means that you have job will be created massively that will favor you as someone who is coming into computer science. So waiting these 4 years, because normally ideas takes time to germinate and generate. Ideas takes time to come out in the light. So sometimes he has brought up the idea, but it takes a lot. It takes the government, it takes the individual, it takes the lecturers to make it a reality. A leader alone does not function without others. So we'll look at why AI is the future of Internet of Intelligence of Things. Why do we need to depend on the analysts? Why will the world depend on us, the computer scientists? Then how do we, since they are depending on us, how do we enable a sustainable future? This is the important area. I would show you what China is doing that they want to create in 2030 and why I believe that Sangam University with you can beat them. I believe you can beat them. And with where your president have said, it showcases that your school is on the point blank, is on the edge of making things to happen. And in order to make it happen, we have to look at how we'll turn this into a sustainable future. Okay, now changing the world with Education 4.0. Like I said, first is understanding what is Education 4.0. Education 4.0 is a desired approach, I can say, to learning that aligns itself with the emerging fourth industrial revolution. So what you have entered as a student is that you have entered into the fourth industrial revolution thinkers. Industrial revolution powered by artificial intelligence, AI. So that is Education 4.0. Now, this industrial revolution focuses on smart technology. We're talking about building students, having graduates who have smart thinkers, who can make things happen, who can think beyond the unknown, like your president said. Ability to see what others cannot see makes you a generational changer. Ability to look at the realities of what is existing and turning it into what you want to be and using it to solve a problem. Because the issue now is most times we have people who don't even understand what the problems are. How will they know the solution? So you are into a program where the management, the lecturers are going to expose to you what are the problems. Because until you see the problems, you will not get a solution. So Industrial Revolution focuses on smart technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics, of which now impact our everyday lives. Everyday lives. Someone said, oh, but we are going to create a problem. And in India, we have people, numerous people, so we will lose our jobs. But I tell them, no, you don't lose your job. It helps you to create more jobs. So the notion that artificial intelligence or your field, computer science, will make you jobless is non-existent. It's not true. Rather, it's going to help you to make things faster, to make things better, and to make your nation developed. That is why Sangam University has put up this program for 4 years to give you that early backing that will sustain your destiny. So then, but COVID-19 came in, and we started trying to think, what can we do? What are we going to do to change this, to solve this COVID-19? So like I said, AI, artificial intelligence tools, have been registering numerous successes in major disease areas such as cancer, neurology, and now in new coronavirus SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19 detection. When you get the slides, you will see something that is currently in position in what do you call it, in Moduyuan metro station in Beijing. What they did was they produced an AI-powered, developed by Chinese tech firm Medvic, that screens commuters for fevers. So I don't need to use, the detector to look at your face, come closer to you. No, it has already programmed in the Moduyuan metro station now in Beijing. So if you're going to travel to Beijing, you understand what I'm saying. So it's a part of an effort to contain the spread of the new coronavirus in China. So they developed this, while a security guard watches over it, and gives, from there they can screen if you have COVID. If you have COVID, there will be an alarm system that will trigger off. And once it triggers up, they will pick you, they will tell you where to go, and quarantine you immediately, whether you like it or not, so that you don't spread the disease. So this is a development from computer science, because when you talk about AI, you talk about computer science. And then COVID-19 patients, as we know, from that experience different symptoms, which include breathlessness, fever, cough, nausea, sore throat, blocked nose, running nose, headache, muscle, joint pains, can be detected. So this is where we are coming into in COVID, in using AI, using the knowledge that you are going to acquire within these 4 years to solve the worst problem. We don't know what, after COVID-19, what else is going to come up. But we want to have students that will be ready for the future. But at the same time, looking at students, because you are going to study the past so that you can function in the future and be ready. No, you can function in the present, right? And be ready for the future. So like your advisor mentioned earlier, we mentioned IoT. Now, some of us we have moved from IoT, Internet of Things. We have moved to another area. Why did we move? And I'll tell you the area soon. Now, we working in IoT, Internet of Things, sensors. I started working on sensors since 2009. We discovered that the IoT that we generated that is working, which some people are just keying into now, which you are still going to learn, which will help to have nodes, thousands of nodes operating in everywhere. Some of you may have been in airline, airline areas where you go to the toilet and you discover a sensor is there. You don't need to flush, the sensor flushes, the sensor sends it by Internet of Things down to the base station where they know which time people, it helps the management to check who comes in, when is the rush time, when do they send someone to clean the toilet, and so many other places where these sensors IoT are already existing and working. Now, we are now looking at, is it really perfect? Why do we need education 4.0 if that is perfect? So we discovered that we have the weak, it's gossipable, it's hard-coded passwords. It has a lot of insecure network services because And then we still have standardization issues. We have lack of secure update mechanism, insufficient privacy protection. Now, I'm giving you the areas where some of you will be working in terms of research, in terms of how do we, these are problems. Like I told you, until you know the problem, you don't know the solution. So I'm giving you areas we already have problems. And some of us are working to see if we can have solutions to these great ideas. Lack of device management, low power issues, power consumption issues, storage issues. If we say, okay, we want it to actually work, how cheap it is, so you look at the cost, the efficiency, and then you look at actually what I call the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, authentication, how are these things actually working? So, and then do we have the real-time data collection? How easy it is? Some of you will come into what we call different areas of WebSockets, REST API, how you can, get these devices connected to server and internet, how you generate these devices and store them in the database. Some of you will know or maybe have idea of what we call the cloud system. And that is where you read your data from, why you don't need, why your system, your phone, your computer can be very low, why you need something higher, And then how do you make this unstructured data? How do you really make it to be structured in a public cloud infrastructure? So we're looking at all these vulnerabilities. We now decided to see, we have these vulnerabilities already operating in Internet of Things. What else do we need to make it much more better? So I personally, and some of our colleagues, call the next, which generation we are in now, intelligence of things. And intelligence of things bring Education 4.0 into reality. That is to say, looking at what are the AI solutions, what are the threats. Currently, banks are evaluating artificial intelligence enabled real-time analysis of ATM use. So that means you can go to ATM. They are including automated CCTV footage analysis and enabling what we call faster responses to fraudulent transactions. You must have heard, you must have read, some people can go to ATM and actually pick up your card without you knowing. So banks are working on this to make sure that they reduce what happens in ATM machines. And so people like us, it's not every ATM you go and you put your card. We put our ATM cards in a place that is secured. So it's one of the security risks. I tell friends to beware where you slot in your ATM machine, because you could live there and live with a huge debt on your head. Now, an Australian company, utility company, is also using predictive-based analysis, drawing the Internet of Things data streams to predict which condition result in equipment failure. So as a result, they take preventive action in time, avoiding costly repairs. Remember, I was telling you, this is part of the thing you're supposed to do as a computer scientist. Ability to detect, project, protect, and respond. We'll come to that soon. Rolls-Royce, US is using AI-powered computing platform to analyze the data generated by its aircraft engines. As a result, Rolls-Royce make design changes and operational recommendations that reduce airline fuel consumption. So in the long run, there is fuel consumption, which also saves the economic cost of that company. So the university you are in, we are prepared for a world where these cyber physical systems are prevalent across all industries. So you're welcome to ability where you think, for example, like the 12 steps of machine learning that you are going to learn. For some of you who will be in that area of machine learning, how you set objective, how you get data, how you split data, how you explore the data, you prepare tools, you train, you tune and debug, how you validate, how you test, how you build for production, how you launch, and how you maintain. So you come to these 12 steps of machine learning. You see it in your slide when I share it to you. So you see, so these are the analyst area, the data engineer, the domain expert, the machine learning engineer, the things you do, the statistician, all coming together, the software engineer, the reliability engineer, the areas where you have diversity of specialization. You come into this. So you choose them, whether you want to analyze what happened in the medical industry. Like recently, we published an article using artificial machine learning to detect and predict how many people survived in Wuhan city, by the data we have, because as a computer scientist, you work with data. Good enough, IEEE now have the IE data port for IE members. So we could go there and pick data port or use other data sets, because as a computer scientist, you need data. You need what has been happening. You also need to prepare and keep data for others to use for their own research. Now, your president, the president of India, recently brought out the 10 steps to cybersecurity. My friends told me that, for example, that WeChat is no longer operating in India, and I was like, oh, because it's working with the CESG, according to them, the government area, where they are looking at network security. This is practically a computer science area, but it's now a general phenomenon that is bringing up as a president to give direct outline, because it causes a huge cost if these things are not put in place. So they are looking at Malawi, how Malawi protection produce relevant policy. They are making policy to establish anti-Malawi defenses that are applicable and relevant to all business area. How Malawi can be scanned by the organization. The network security, protect your networks against external and internal attack. Manage the network perimeter, filter out unauthorized access, malicious content, monitor and test security controls. I'm giving you hints of what you are going to see and why this field is very vital to the future of any nation. The president is also thinking of using user education and awareness. That means there will be funding to produce users, security policies covering acceptable and secure use of the organization system, establishing a staff training program. That's what you are doing, even by enrolling as a computer scientist in Sangam University. Home and mobile working, develop a mobile working policy, train staff to adhere to it, apply this policy to baseline, to secure baseline. It talks about secure configuration, where patches and where ICT systems is maintained. He talked about removal media controls, produce a policy to control all access to removal media, limit media types and use, scan all media for Malawi before importing onto the corporate system. Managing user privileges, establish account management processes, incident management. These are all the 10 steps your president has brought up, which is very good, because it brings us back to Education 4.0. And that is what? Detection, prediction, and response. Detection, prediction, and response. So these are all what AI, Education 4.0, is all about. Then, AI as a solution. You will begin to look at the areas we call deep learning in cybersecurity. Examples of such application will be intrusion detection, what we call IDS. In this year alone, I have 6 papers on IDS. If you Google my name and check them out, where we deal with anomaly-based model that use autoencoders, either you will call the CNN or RNN. You have the Malawi detection as an example of deep learning in cybersecurity, where you have classification-based model that use fully connected neural networks. You also come into areas we call spam and phishing detection, where you use deep learning methods for natural language processing. Someone who was reading linguistic came to me and said, oh, I'm interested in AI. And initially I was like, who? Linguistic. That is an art course. That is more language course. But then I now discovered that natural language processing, if he learns it very well, he could do more in terms of voice recognition. And you can use that in cybersecurity to track criminals who use voice, and also to track people, even in smart city. So it's a very huge area that you are in. We have other areas like the traffic analysis, protocol identification in using deep learning. We have what we call the domain name generation algorithms, detection and categorization, where you model binary classifiers. In all, Internet of Intelligence of Things, we have said, refers to the billions of internet connected devices deployed around the world. So if they are deployed, they have been used in different areas, and we have a lot of proofs for that. But the fact remains, the fact is this: artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is the core of Education 4.0, can draw more advanced insights from data and draw this insight more rapidly. So AI can actually identify unusual trends with greater accuracy and removes the need for human data review by using computer vision and speech recognition. That is the beauty of what we are learning. So AI as a treat, some people have said, oh, AI is a treat. I said it earlier. Oh, it's going to take our job. Oh, we are so much in this country, we need jobs. So if you do that, AI will take your job. It will only be done by artificial intelligence, robots, and they don't need you. I said, no. This is just an addition to make your work easier. It creates more job than creates more problem. So bias occurs when results are produced that are systematically prejudiced due to erroneous assumptions, like I've mentioned. But the fact is, algorithms can be designed by individuals with conscious, unconscious preferences, while we also need to train this algorithm. So they are not vital issues at all. Now, I've earlier said that AI is a benefit to health. It's faster, less expensive, and more accurate. There's a memory driven by that was set up by HP recently. That is, what does it do? It increases in analysis speeds, blast research bottlenecks, leading to shorter processing time. We're talking about 60% power reduction, cut research cost from 22 minutes to 13 seconds. Something that we can use to measure efficiency in cyber analysis. So neurodegenerative disease, memory-driven computing helps outspace the global time bomb of these neurodegenerative diseases by giving us shorter time to make these things work. So why is AI the future of Internet of Things or Internet of Intelligence of Things? 61% of enterprises say they cannot detect breach attempts today without the use of AI technologies. This is Education 4.0. 48% say their budgets for AI in cybersecurity will increase by an average of 29% in fiscal year 2021. That means then breach attempts are proliferating. For example, Cisco reported in 2018 that they blocked 7 trillion threats on behalf of their customers. 7 trillion. Now we're talking about one company alone. On behalf of their customers, blocked 7 trillion threats. So that means as we are talking now, people are busy creating threats, how they can come into your system. That makes you even much more marketable to a retailer. You are marketable as a graduate, as immediately you are coming out. Small companies, big companies, they need your services. Because if they don't need your services, they will pay based on hackers who try to infiltrate their systems. So It's better to be on the safe side by employing a computer scientist, which Sagam University is training you to become. So all will depend on the analysts. We are getting into the level of AI 2.0, which I'll briefly mention, where everyone will depend on the analyst. But the fact is this, we don't have the people. We don't have the people. Because if we have the people, I tell you, coronavirus shouldn't have been. We don't have the people. It's not enough. So cybersecurity ventures estimates 3.5 million, for example, what I just checked with the US, on field cybersecurity jobs by 2021, to 3.5 million just in one location, up from 1 million openings just last year. They don't have the right training. That is another thing. That is why you are coming into the education 4.0, where this training will be given, adequately given to you. You know. Then high turnover. 46% of respondents with this solicited to take a new job. That means everybody is trying to do something to take a job. I majored, my first degree was in electrical electronics engineering, majored in telecommunication. Second degree, majored in telecommunication, my first master's. Then I did one master's in scientific computing in Uppsala University. Then I jumped into communication hardware and microsystems engineering. But by the time I started my PhD 2000, then I entered into security of Internet of Things, wireless sensor networks. But now I am also adding the knowledge of AI and ML. And I think as of today, one paper was accepted. That means within January and July, I have produced 16 papers on AI and ML. Why? So you don't ever say, even as a faculty, oh, this is where I base. I don't need, and you need, everyone needs. We all read daily. So you need also to improve yourself so that you can be an adequate teacher that will help these students to get to the top of their career. So we all do research. We all learn every day. We all try to add to what we have known so that we can become better teachers, better leaders, as your president have said. And to be a better leader, you must be a constant, consistent reader. It is only when you're a constant, consistent reader that you can make impact and you can change records and you can make name. So it starts all from the analysts. It starts from the computer scientists, because we want to enable a sustainable future. That is the important thing. For instance, PYC and Microsoft entitled How AI Can Enable a Sustainable Future. They argue that artificial intelligence technologies, which is the core of Education 4.0, are among those that can enable real and effective change. It claims are nothing short of bold, which is true. AI for environmental application in just 4 key industry sectors could contribute $5.2 trillion to the global economy in 2030. So your president is right. The president of the country is right also, by bringing AI to be the forefront of the economy of India. Why? Because it is huge investment. If Sangha University can maintain this level of intelligence and idea, and bring in more creativity into it, I tell you, you will have people who can be anywhere in the world and be part of the world's solution. And number 2, reduce the worldwide emission by 4% in 2030 and create, just for one sector, 38.2 million net new jobs. So it's a sustainable future where everything is connected, where everybody is linked up, where AI predicts, dictates, and responds at a faster rate in order to prevent another pandemic, because there will always be a new thing. The question will be, are we ready to face the new thing? So Education 4.0 is about evolving with the times, and for higher educational institutions like Sagam University, it means understanding what is required of their future graduates. AI might help prevent future outbreaks of diseases. Imagine a global network of sensors and systems that provide an early warning when infectious disease is threatening to become pandemic. Every country, major country, are blaming World Health Organization, blaming other countries for not reporting this issue early. But the fact is, if the mechanisms are put in place, building one would be an enormous undertaking for governments around the world. But the potential is unquestionable. Therefore, we need to secure the intelligence of things. We also need to make vital to prevent hackers from gaining access to this beautiful idea. We also wish that students, most of you are listening to me now, will understand the core of what we are talking about. Be serious in your studies. Remember what I said earlier. It is not, you don't expect your teachers to give you 100%. You have the beauty of the internet where you can search your information, prepare for your information, and give back to your nation. The world is waiting for you. I want to welcome you again as students of computer scientists, computer science students of this great university, Sangam University, and hope that we'll meet you in future where you will make name for the school, for your family, and for the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Celestine, sir, for your beautiful thoughts, exploring the strength and weakness of education 4.0 in the higher education institutions during COVID-19 and after post-COVID-19. So thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Miss Evangelia, ma'am, international speaker and academic advisor of the English Academy of Languages from Athens, Greece. I think her topic is how to assess the language of business interviews, analyzing the top job interviews, questions answer patterns via exploring the differences between spoken and written disclosure. On the behalf of Sangam University, we would like to welcome ma'am on this auspicious program.
Okay, thank you very much for your introduction. I would like to say hello to everyone, to all the esteemed participants and co-presenters as well. So allow me to share my screen. Give me a second, please.
No, it's not yet.
Is it visible?
No, ma'am, it's not visible yet.
Not yet. Okay, inform me, please. Is it visible now?
Yeah, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, so I shall start. Okay, so the topic of my presentation has to do with the language of interviews, as you previously said, and I have divided the presentation into three main stages. The pre-interview top tips, I would like to start with this. So, but before we do this, let's discuss the notion of the importance of an interview. Why is it important? Because career is one of the most important parts of one's life. So by conducting an interview, the assessment of employees is possible, as there is no other selective procedure better than the interviews. Conducting an interview also forms a bridge between the interviewer and the interviewee. The speaking skills of the interviewee are unknown, so the candidate is given a chance to talk, and the interviewers can assess his good communication skills. Apart from that, they can also check the confidence level, and the social behavior of the interviewee is analyzed. Also, other parameters is the body language and the smartness. The quality of the answers is also tested, and more clarifications can be put forward in everything regarding the interview beforehand. A valuable piece of advice for interviewees is to spend some time researching the company prior to the scheduled interview and have a look at the multinational companies' websites in order to have a clear image of the company's approach that they're really interested in. So by doing this, all the interviewees are given the chance to look at the company's policy, mentality, standards, code of ethics, values, and goals. So they are given the chance to get insight into the interviewer's mind. For the purposes of today's presentation and make it more authentic, I have incorporated the names of some of the most popular multinational companies like Cognizant, TCS, IBM India, Microsoft, Amazon, Nestlé, Flipkart, Capgemini India, Amdocs, Mindtree, Sony, Odessa Technologies, Wipro, HCL Technologies, Infosys, Mastech, and Emphasis. So the point of incorporating the websites here is that I visited these websites for the purposes of the presentation, and I selected the most representative extracts from the website that show all the valuable pieces of information that an interviewee would need for an interview before going to that day to have selected all the important pieces of info. So let's see, out of the 17 websites, I have selected only 8, just for the purposes of the presentation. I start with the Cognizant approach. These are authentic extracts from the websites. So I'm going to read them per se, just to get an authentic taste of their values. Cognizant's approach says that we are driven by our purpose and guided by our values. Each member of our team takes responsibility for creating a culture that enables exceptional outcomes. We work as one. We always make the ethical choice. We act with agility and creativity. We include, we enable, and invest in everyone around us. Whether we're working in a development center on site with our customers, in our corporate office, or in our everyday lives, we must be role models of integrity. So our core values are transparency, passion, empowerment, collaboration, and ethical code. The reason why some words are depicted in pink color is that they show the values. I have actually separated and singled out the values that appear in their approaches. The same applies to the Tata Consultancy Services. It says, the Top Employers Institute rated TCS as an exceptional performer across the following core human resources areas: talent strategy, workforce planning, learning and development, performance management, leadership development, career and succession management. Agile industry units have embedded capabilities to enable rapid responses that provide a competitive edge to our customers. Today, we are building a hyper-connected organization using internal social platforms to ensure extensive collaboration and engagement among our employees. Moving on to Nestlé. Their approach, the culture of innovation and renovation within the company. Nestlé India is a responsible organization and facilitates initiatives that help to improve the quality of life in the communities where it operates. Nestlé's ways of doing business through its philosophy of creating shared value. About Sony, the purpose is to fill the world with emotion through the power of creativity and technology. Pioneer the future with dreams and curiosity. Earn the trust for the Sony brand through ethical and responsible conduct. For Amazon, who are we? Amazon is guided by 4 principles: customer obsession rather than competitor focus, passion for invention, commitment to operational excellence, and long-term thinking. Leaders expect and require innovation and invention from their teams and always find ways to simplify. We hire, and we develop the best. Leaders raise the performance bar with every hire and promotion. They recognize exceptional talent and willingly move them throughout the organization. Leaders develop leaders and take seriously their role in coaching others. About the Mindtree, takes an agile, collaborative approach to creating customized solutions across the digital value chain. There is a collaborative spirit. Mindtree believes in developing true partnerships. We foster a collegial, they say, environment, shared responsibility, where individual perspectives are respected and honest dialogue is expected. HCL Technologies, amid the crisis, enterprises need to revamp their strategy toward remote means of working and collaboration again. HCL Technologies is armed and ready to tackle this precarious situation, using agility, speed, and innovation to address business continuity to serve customers while enabling and safeguarding the interests of its employees. Amdocs. At Amdocs, we use our imagination to design a better future and our experience to deliver it. It's innovation again in practice. So what was the purpose of just sharing with you all these approaches from just 8 websites? Because all these are keywords and key information to help understand what the ideal candidate profile would be. And this is based on the collection of all these approaches, of all these prestigious multinational companies, because all these words and all these notions that I have just emphasized should appear in the phraseology of their interviews. Now I'm moving on from the pre-interview process into the during interview process. And I will examine interviews from a linguistic perspective. First of all people that want to apply for positions in all these multinational companies need to understand the notion of positive language. Positive language is the art of using words and phrases to communicate positive and supportive tone, whether we talk about customers or employees. This is very important because it builds rapport. Rapport is an excellent relationship with others, because the language that is used has a very positive impact on the people's emotions. So this positive language is of the utmost importance for an interview environment. And positive words bring great energy to an interview. And the positive language, it means that what somebody can do instead of what that person cannot do. So there should be elimination of the negative factors. Let me give you some positive language examples to understand. The phrase, I wouldn't want you to think, the utterance actually, I wouldn't want you to think that I'm bad at managing my time. It's not well said. What the interviewees should say would be, I am a good time manager. So you can see immediately that this negative aspect of the phraseology is omitted. Also, some weak qualifiers like hopefully and try and words like this should be omitted because they add an image of uncertainty. And in nowadays environments, what interviewers value a lot is certainty and leadership. So that image of uncertainty can be portrayed through the words that they are used in the interview. So words like try and hopefully, like what I'm going to try to do hopefully, should be avoided, because the interviewer wouldn't be convinced that the person who applied for the position is effective in the job. So removing all these qualifiers project a more confident image. Also, there should be a difference between the conjunctions and but, because if they use the word but, it creates a barrier between the interviewer and the interviewee, and it blocks interactivity between the two. Also, hypothesizing now that you use the right tenses, because here it is also important to use right tenses. Like, if I was in this role, I would. This portrays impossibility. Instead of that, that should be replaced with, when I am in this role, I will, because I will is more positive. So you see the power of words that create a picture in the interviewer's mind of doing the job already with will. So it's very important to ensure that the candidate uses all these positive words and show to all the interviewers that this candidate is very, very positive in mind and attitude as well. The phrases to become more specific, the phrases to avoid would be, I don't think I have ever had a failure. I never make mistakes. I always give 110% in the job. Do not always say that you overcome challenges. And by saying you, I address the college students, okay? It's not nice to say that we never make mistakes. What they are interested in seeing in college students and graduates is not that they are impeccable and they never make mistakes. They want to see a much more realistic image, and they want to see that they can improve themselves. So always talk about what you have learned, not what you have mistakenly done. And for example, all these are phrases in the quotation marks that are authentic ones from previous interviews that have been examined linguistically. When I have had a failure, it's always been important for me to learn what happened, so I could make it right the next time. I stay focused on the job at hand and try not to let myself be distracted by non-important stuff. They should also build conversations like, I've been in similar situations, and the experience has helped me to see how I can deal with this differently. I'm glad you asked that, because it is something which I enjoy doing. So we show interactivity and we build a relationship through conversation. It is also important not to shy away from their weaknesses. For example, I do use Microsoft Excel and find that I'm not always getting formulas right. When that happens, I just ask for help and give myself the time needed. So it is important to admit weaknesses, but it is also important at the same time to say how you're going to take action and improve these weak areas. This is what they want to see. Now, spoken English versus written English. Why am I mentioning this? Because in an interview, in a job interview, the formal aspect of English should be used. Sometimes students of English and learners of English cannot demarcate the line between what is general English or what is business English or what is formal style or what is informal style. Some learners speak the way they write and others write the way they speak. This should not be happening. There should be a clear demarcation between pragmatics, what kind of language I should use in the right situation. So for an interview here, the right situation has to do with formal English. Candidates need to show the interviewers that they can use a language that is more structured. Now I'm analyzing the right column, that is more structured, more complex, more permanent, planned, idea-based, and there are rules. There is some structure behind talking about it, as opposed to informality and simple words or directness that can be interpreted sometimes like rudeness, or to be very flexible, because these are people that they meet actually for the first time, and they need to follow some politeness strategies. Also, what is very, very important is I have included here some powerful interview keywords and phrases. Words like, these are must, SOS. I urge you to use them. I can contribute. I don't care about the rest of the phrase. I just need the prompt. The moment the candidate starts talking like this, he or she immediately frames the environment of positivity. It's like saying, I'm here for you, hire me. Hire me for my attitude, hire me for my phraseology, hire me for everything. So I can contribute, it shows ability. I will offer, it shows ability again. I look forward to, it shows positivity and becoming hopeful. Respect, another powerful word. It shows gratitude. Opportunity, it shows development and gratitude. The word experience, it shows qualifications and knowledge, epistemological knowledge, expertise. Skills, it shows professionalism. Goals, the same. Flexible, it shows adaptability, one of the 21st century skills, especially in critical times. Mission statement, the company's mission statement. As I said, the candidates should already have a look at the website and have a look and becoming familiar with the approach of the company. and mention the mission statement throughout the interview, the proper and the right time. Reliable, it shows work ethics. Leader, because it shows leadership skills. And example, exemplification. They should use examples because they emphasize the qualities, and they analyze, and they shed light on the candidate's qualifications. There are many questions that can be asked. That's why I found it very useful to categorize them, just to have a framework about where these questions stand, because having a framework will help candidates to better respond to the questions. So category number 1 has to do with the personal questions, getting to know you questions, questions that are called the icebreakers. Category 2 has to do with the behavioral questions, questions that exploring how they reacted in the past to help them understand if they, interviewers, if they can respond, the candidates, in a future situation. Here, I will pause a lot and I will give extra behavioral questions because it's the most commonly category tested and asked. There is a technique for this because, as I said, nothing happens in a vacuum. Just because it is formal English, in a formal job interview, there should be an argumentation line in your responses, in the responses of the candidates. This technique is called the STAR technique. In my subsequent slides, I will explain what it means. The acronym stands for S for situation, T for task, A for action, and R for results. The last category has to do with the role-specific questions. Expect questions about previous skills and experiences to know whether you are a good fit in the company or an asset in the company. Category number 1. I haven't given answers to all the questions. I have given answers to some of these that would be impossible because of time restrictions, but you will see that in some of these I have answered them just to get a taste of how a proper answer would be, a suggested one, of course. Personal interview questions. Can you tell me about yourself? How did you hear about the job? Why do you want this position? What would your strengths be as an employee? What are your weaknesses? You see, it's important to name your weaknesses because they expect that kind of improvement. They want to see how you can adapt. If a crisis arises, we can't be triumphantly victorious every time. They want to see that you have this kind of adaptability. And the last one, what are some of your accomplishments? These are answered. So for the question, can you tell me about yourself? That would be a suggested answer. I feel I'm well suited to a business role, as if I had always been an entrepreneur. And that is the reason why I decided to follow studies in the business field and had an excellent performance in strategic marketing. How did you hear about the job? I favor social networking and I have many connections. I heard about the job on LinkedIn, or I know Mr. X who works here and informed me of this marvelous position in your company. Or, why do you want this position? I'm passionate about this field and I think I would be an asset to your company due to my specialized knowledge and skills. What would your strengths be as an employee? The combination of my soft and hard skills is my main strength, as I'm an excellent public speaker and good at business negotiations and an Excel expert. What are your weaknesses? A trap question. In the past, I couldn't fully focus on the most important commitments, and as I reflected on my weak areas, I decided to develop more professionally. This experience forced me to learn time management skills better. What are some of your accomplishments? I was the president of an on-campus organization. I managed the budget. I managed to promote leadership, multitasking, and time management skills. So what is the epitome here of, and the main lesson that we learn? That there is no negativity in this phraseology. You can't see even a single not or but, or I try, or hopefully, or I see. You can't feel any uncertainty. So that's the power of language, to be able to portray yourself and make them hire you for who you are using the right language. An example now, as I said before, and I promised, of the STAR technique for the behavioral interview questions. Situation, task, action, and result. Remember the first initial letters. What could be a situation? It's a scenario. Let's say that in my marketing class, I play the role now of the candidate. I was assigned to a group and asked to come up with a mock publicity plan for my school's new fundraising campaign. My task was to explain the problem the team faced. Maybe there was someone difficult on the team, or there was friction, disagreement between team members. My action, what did I do about it? And the result, how did my actions lead to the great outcome? This will help the interviewer to see your potentiality level. So by structuring your answers to behavioral questions, I will show you more examples of behavioral questions. By using this framework, situation, task, action, and result, you immediately become very organized and very exact and precise to what you want to say and how you want to answer. This is a diagrammatic representation of the argumentation line of the STAR technique. This is a pattern of a logical structure, moving from generality to specificity. The generality has to do with a scenario, a general scenario, a general situation, a general condition. Then the task, what I had to do, or as a candidate, I had to do, is become specific, because I start practicing and I start taking action. You see, it moves on to action. There are specificity levels, from something specific to more specific, until I get the desirable result. What would be the desirable result? My potentiality, that I did it, I managed to do it. So a result should come at the end, because if you start answering the questions with a result, then they get lost. You won't have this kind of emotional appeal and dynamism in your interviews. Category 2, as I promised, the behavioral interview questions. Listen to that. Can you tell me about a situation that required teamwork and how you drove your team to success? Well, the answer, I led a group project at school last year and received a great performance. Or I was part of an on-campus organization that plans big events. Or I was the captain of a sports team. You need to choose a specific incident and tell a successful story that tells them how you work with others. You remember the approach from the websites, collaboration and teamwork, we work as one. So here, by using this phraseology, you meet their approach, you give them what they have asked for. Can you describe a time when you dealt with a difficult customer situation? The interviewer here wants to know whether they trust you. They can trust you to deal with clients that are demanding, and they want to see if you can turn, based on your behavioral patterns, a difficult situation into a positive relationship, a pessimistic situation into an optimistic situation. Okay. The last category is the role-specific interview questions, like, why do you think you would be a good fit here? What are your salary requirements? Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? And I thought, I was thinking about incorporating some holistic patterns of questions and answer, but then I changed my mind and I said, no, I'm going to give them another content material that has to do with the most challenging and unexpected interview questions, because so far what I have analyzed is expected, more or less. Questions like an SOS question. Do you have any questions for me? And now there is a change between the term. The interviewee becomes the interviewer, and the interviewer becomes, in quotations, the interviewee. The most problematic thing for candidates would be to say, no, I have no questions to ask. That shouldn't be happening. The truth is that this is one of the most important questions in the interview agenda. And I have incorporated, for credibility purposes, an interviewer's perspective, Paul Smith's, the senior vice president at Peak Technical Staffing in the USA. These are the experts that place engineering support and IT professionals with employers nationwide. And listen to what he says. By the time a candidate gets to me, this is the only question that interests me. Can you imagine? Out of all these questions I mentioned, this is what they care about. It shows me that they think strategically. I'm trying to separate out downstream the candidates I want to keep an eye on from promotability or marketability purposes. You can, in the interview, set the stage for your career opportunities within the company. In other words, you are hired the moment you answer this question. There are also some back pocket questions that, for me, it is important for interviewees to have in their sleeves, metaphorically speaking, at the end of the interview. So questions would be the following. Can you tell me, now the interviewees ask the interviewer at the end of the interview, can you tell me more about the day-to-day responsibilities of this job? How do you think are the most important, what do you think, are the most important qualities for someone to excel in this role? So you ask them now. You give them all the floor to help you and understand better. What are your expectations for this role during the first 30 days, 60 days in a year? So you ask for a sustainable project, sustainable developmental, let's say, plan. Describe the culture of your company, could you? Where do you think the company is headed in the next 5 years? These are very tough questions. So you show them at the same time that you are a very analytic thinker and a very critical thinker, and that you can share that kind of questions with them. Interactivity, no barriers. Who do you consider your top competitor would be and why? That is a very interesting question. What are the biggest opportunities facing the company or your department right now? Or what are the biggest challenges that your company and department is facing right now? Or what are the next steps in the interview process? So you show at the same time your predictability skills. This kind of synthesis is the magic behind a successful interview. Another unexpected and a challenging question would be about the online credits and the online degrees that some candidates have obtained throughout their training processes. So sometimes the interviewers doubt the program's legitimacy, and they put forward questions like, is the online program accredited? What would be an answer here? Yes, my online degree comes from a reputable institution and meets certain educational standards. The accrediting agency is recognized by the US Department of Education or whatever, or the Council for Higher Education Accreditation. So there is no doubt, there is no ground for uncertainty here. Another question, why did you choose to pursue a degree online? The answer, I don't have much time to spend. I'm working full-time with a family, and I am a level in my organization that does not allow me to have that much free time. For example, that was an answer from a resident. Number 3, did you develop skills in teamwork and group collaboration throughout the program? My online program also involved collaborative learning, and I was given the chance to work with peers on my group assignments. To what extent were you able to interact with the program's other students? Education can bring a lot of exposure of global ideas, and the program helped me to interact with my classmates through discussion forums. Now, as I promised, I have incorporated 25 extra behavioral interview questions. The first has to do with teamwork and collaboration oriented. The tip here is to use success stories about teamwork. It is not about you, the concept, it is about them. Collaborative spirit. Questions like, could you tell me about a team project you worked on? Describe a time when you had to bring 2 departments together to work more effectively with each other. Have you ever been in a situation where you have found that working in a team was more successful than working alone? Leadership-oriented questions now. The tip is to show you can be a leader. Could you tell me about a time you stepped up into a leadership role? Could you tell me about a time that you took the lead on a difficult project? How do you motivate other people to work with you? Problem-solving oriented. The tip is to pick success stories that highlight another strength as well. For example, leadership. So if you can manage to synthesize more skills into one single question, that would be the bonus. Questions like, could you tell me about a situation where you had to solve a difficult problem? Can you describe your style when dealing with irate customers that they get angry very easily? Can you give an example of an occasion when you used logic to solve a problem? Can you describe a time when you were faced with a stressful situation? Communication and handling conflict oriented, because these questions are related to the candidate's interpersonal skills having to do with themselves. How you deal and communicate with the people you often interact and conflicts you had in the past. It shows how you were able to stay calm and manage to solve problems with a variety of personality types, because a leader cannot be panic-stricken. A leader should always be calm in order to take decisions that can solve problems. Anger can actually blur the vision, and leaders should never become angry. The same applies to good employees in a company. They should stay calm and in a position to take wise, educated actions. Questions like, can you tell me about a time that you disagreed with the rule or approach? Can you describe a situation in which you were able to use persuasion to successfully convince a person to see things your way? Initiative-oriented, the tip. Such questions examine the ability to be a self-starter. If you have a drive of your own and you can accomplish tasks beyond the call of a duty, in other words, we shouldn't expect someone to tell us what to do. Sometimes there should be an insight into the problematic zone and a dive into the problematic zone before it becomes worse. So that kind of call of a self-starter has to do with questions like, can you describe a time when you expect future problems and you took initiative to develop preventive measures? Can you describe a time when you would go beyond your job description to save your company's money? So they want to see the step beyond. A+. And I would like to finish today's presentation with the last stage, the post-interview language. I'm going to recapitulate and refresh your memory. There was a pre-interview, there was a during interview process, and the post-interview process. It's not monodimensional, just a whole with interview concept. It has to do with the before, in the middle, and at the end, because they judge candidates holistically. So the first impression, a dynamic in-between phraseology and a very good last impression makes a very elegant and dynamic and to-the-point interview process. So what would be the post-interview language? You leave the hiring manager with a lasting positive impression, as I said. This means that you shake hands when meeting and when leaving. And when leaving, you should always say something like, with a smile, of course, thanks again for inviting me to the interview. It sounds like a role which I'm going to enjoy finding out more about and how I might fit in with the team and the company. When I was researching the company, your company, I was impressed with how big it is and the opportunities this presents itself. Thanks for meeting with me. It will be good to get the feedback from the interview. Hopefully, we will be able to talk again soon and cooperate. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your auspicious words, like how the business interviews will be and how the students will help help to get their activities into this particular interviews. So thanks a lot, ma'am. Now I would like to request Dr. Varakamal Vasti, ma'am, Associate Professor, King Mongkut University Technology, North Bangkok, Thailand,
Yeah.
Her
Hello.
hello. Her
Can you hear
topic is
me?
reskilling and upskilling, a strategic response to changing skill demands for professional development. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, ma'am. It's audible.
ไม่เห็นได้ยินอะไรเลยไหนลองพูดสิฮัลโหล
Ma'am, it's audible.
ไม่ได้ยินอันนี้พูดอยู่
Ma'am, it's audible.
ฮัลโหล
Yeah, ma'am, it's audible.
My turn. I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's your turn. It's audible, ma'am.
Maybe. Okay, probably I can't hear your side, but I would like to present my presentation. If firstly, probably I would like to say thank you so much for inviting me today as a guest lecturer or is a resource speaker. That very honor. Probably I would like to show. Let's start to see my slide. I got no. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's start with my topic. My topic today is about reskill and upskill for design thinking in 21st century. Probably I would like to introduce myself. My name is Associate Professor Dr. Warakamon Visesi. I'm from Applied Arts faculty from King Mongkut University of Technology, North Bangkok, Thailand. Today, let's start my topic. I would like to say about my major for bachelor, master, and PhD. I'm graduate from management, and my major is human resource management. From past era, we always focus about the human resource organization, but we not focus on human resource development program. But past 10 years, we change organization is disruption, so we change to human resource development. Human resource development is some definition of human resource management. It's about put the right man on the right job at the right person in the right place. But nowadays we can apply this one, but not really 100% because we need to focus about soft skill to put more skill for our staff or our employees to future for adapt with the AI, with the hard skill also, soft skill and hard skill, very, very important. So let's start the reskill and upskill. Why it is important? Because this at point, so skill and upskill is mean the way for people to survive to digital disruption. How we can go along with the AI, with the hard skill, and we need to improve our knowledge or our skill or capacity to better for sustainable organization in the future. So let's start. This one is the my especially to explain the introduction and for the reskill and upskill. The result of reskill and upskill, we also talk about the digital disruption trend, leading organization in all the industrial must adapt in many aspects, including the use of technology to advance business development, such, such as phenomenal has a direction impact on competency of the employees, which is the main determine the phase, the phase of the organization. So why? That's why organization need to upgrade these skills to improve their capacity. This one, the essential for reskill and upskill. For reskill and upskill properly, it means to take the organization to step beyond digital disruption. Start with the human development. That's why I always told you about the human development program. Why it is important. Why we need to learn how to human be. Why we need to input a lot of skill to human for the human development and for the reskill and upskill to 21st century. Why we need to reskill and upskill? Because as you know, digital disruption trend it affect to organization transform. Then we need to transform organization. So we need to transform the employee and human inside organization also. So that's why just World Economic Forum, I refer to World Economic Forum reports that 50% or more of workers need to add new skill. New skill is mean reskill by 2022. What is this skill or new skill is related to conceptual framework and cultural and conceptual framework is main core or main concept of the new skill and upskill. People can create learning in all areas, in many disciplines, but people must spend the most time on that. In order to create a learning society as we doing now, we start to webinar. We start to cooperation with the other around the world. We are Asian or we are Western or Caucasian, we can go along together to share knowledge and management and to share the spirit of teacher or ethic of teacher also. This one is conceptual framework and culture that we need to learn or share collaboratively the knowledge, skill, sharing together for the better place, better world, or better university to be top ranking in the future, something like that. And for the this concept, I would like to focus about people, human center for learning society. As I told you before, it's about learning society, we communication with each other together, and we also learning some sharing and knowledge or something that we never know before, but if we input a program for learning society, so we will know in some day or next day, something like that, because we share the knowledge, we share everything together. This one is reskill and upskill. Definition is mean to turning point for future challenge for sustainable organization development. You need to develop your organization, otherwise digital will disruption. I always repeat this one again and again and again, because transform organizations nowadays very important. Every organization should to improve input soft skill for employee, for staff, for human. And before we gonna transform organization, the most important questions are the organization is ready to transform or not. If organization not ready, you need to prepare this all the question. As I read, the first question is, what is the problem of organization? The second one is, where is the organization standing now? The next is, new organization that is going to have an impact on the organization. In what form? Where is it? And who the challenge? What the strategy of organization should be? Which position or where is it your organization in the marketplace? You need to answer and find out the right answer for the better way to the digital disruption trend in the future. And the other one of the question is, how are organizations ready? Are you ready or not ready? You need to answer yourself. You have more enough staff or not, or you need to hire some more, or you need to hire someone for SEO. You need to, let's start step number one with the how are organization ready or not, and the other one, and then organization will have the way to solve the problem and part in order to enable the organization to move forward sustainable or not. You need to answer this one, sustainable or sustain. This one is very important, the concept or core or the main concept. Sustainable means such as our university is like everything we are concerned about clean concept. Need to save the water, electricity, people, human, labor, or everything. We also save cost. This one is called sustainable for the long life. For the save everything depend on ecology and economy as well. And I would like to show you about the future of the Asean. Why future of the ASEAN very important? Because we need to focus about not only Thailand, but we need to concern about the ASEAN also. What the ASEAN? ASEAN is mean the group of Southeast Asia. We join together, such as the Euro or something like that, and we share some knowledge, some labor, some exchange program for students also as MOU. You already know, right? So I would like to introduce a little bit for you about ASEAN, including Thailand, need to develop skills urgently, such as what? Overview of Asean and Thailand at this time look similar and the same direction in every ASEAN country. For the future of the ASEAN, there are many problems with the development of education and public health skills, and must reduce urgent social and economic inequality with each state. According to the information, ASEAN had the third largest labor force in the world, more than 350 million, is around 39 million Thai people after China and India. And for the future of the ASEAN, Singapore depends on foreign workers. As you know, all Singaporean is like education a lot. So they lack of labor workers. So many people immigrant or move to Singapore. That's why Singapore economy is depend on foreign worker. Too many Caucasian, too many Asian, too many such as a multicultural in Singapore, and also have the Indian town in there. And for the next country is like Malaysia and Thailand. What the Thailand lack? Thailand lack the skill of worker, especially in engineering and science. Why? For example, our university have graduate engineering is around 2000. Oh no, sorry, 500. 500 people engineering graduate from our university, but we did not invent anything that answer for the innovation because we lack of skilled worker, and we also learn from the textbook, not in the workshop as much as we can, because we have not enough money, we have lack of money to support or something like that, because we are developing country. So everything is like still lack. So for the soft skill of labor or soft skill of people in Malaysia and Thailand, we also lack of skill of worker. And also the next country is Indonesia and Philippines, that have a lot of labor but lacking skill and knowledge. Lacking skill and knowledge because they have they would like to support about population inside, but they are developing country also. So everything need to share for economy, for other things. So that's why education is not enough. Yes, okay. And for the Brunei is mainly depending on oil, but lacking research and development to advance to the other area of the labor, because everyone needs, so they import about professional skill or science or engineering from other countries because there is the money power. They can buy everything because they have the oil. So they need lack of research and development R&D. But comparative with the Thailand, Thailand is a lot of research and development also. And for the CLMV is mean Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam countries. Lack of education resulting in lack of professional skill development. For example, some of our lecturers in here in King Mongkut University of North Bangkok, we have invitation from Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia for some time to like the expat or exchange some knowledge, some course. Because we Asean, we share together. As I repeat you, this always repeat you because we like the Asian communication. So sometimes we going out to abroad to the outside for teaching. But now during a day it's about the COVID-19. So everything stopped, nothing moving on. Only webinar, and you know what? I have too many appointments for webinar, and I'm also very happy. And also, so let's to the India. For the future of the India, what the important for focus for the India and young people in India, more than 50% of Indians young will not have skill for 21st century job. This one refer from UNICEF. Every day, nearly 100,000 young South Asians, a large sports stadium of young people, enter the labor market. Almost half of them not on track to find 21st century job. This one refer from Logical India, 7 November 19, 2019. And this one is, I would like to focus about the Indian young, why they not have enough skill for 21st century, and we need to improve a lot of input a lot of soft skill to young people for new our generation for better ASEAN, for better Asia and better world. Hopefully, according to the data produced the global business correlation for the nation from GBC Education, the ASEAN's Commission and United Nations, they said 50% of India youngs are not enough about the 4C. 4C, what is the 4C? I would like to tell you about the 4C of soft skill for 21st century. The first C is like communication. Communication, what is communication for the India young need to study more is the communication to sharing thought, to sharing the mindset, to sharing the idea, the question, idea, and solution together. Communication need to be like the public speaker also. You need to communicate for the right message to the right people. And this one is quality communication for 21st century. And for the second C is like collaborations. What is collaboration? collaboration too, learning together, such as, for example, we are sharing, we are collaborating nowadays, working together to get a list of a goal. Whatever you do, you need to answer the proposal or answer the main subject that you relate to the outcome. And the third C is like critical thinking. Critical thinking is mean think out of box, looking the problem in the other way and answer the other way, not the normal. Such as design thinking nowadays, we are very in tough situation about COVID-19. So this critical thinking might be the answer to think about everything, things out of box, do less, get more, do something less, but get another thing more, a bigger outcome, and save the cost, save the money. This one, the critical thinking. And maybe you can maybe I would like to easy to remember. Design thinking is mean think out of box, something like that, looking for the new way to solve the problem. And the last C is like creativity. Create. It means create. You need to create everything. This one, very, very especially for design thinking in 21st century, you need to create. Think everything is a new concept out of box. So this one, UNICEF is refer for future of young Indian people, young Indian generation, and point out of this necessary for the combined education with the workforce readiness, soft skill, technician skill, and entrepreneurship so that the young can easily adapt the work environment in the future, so they will not have the pressure in organizations such as each organization have the culture of the organization. If they are young people ready for soft skill and hard skill, so they will success and the country will be success in the future also. And for the disruption effect, the branch from World Economic Forum 2019, economist Clark Schwab says that the World Economic Forum 2016 meeting that 2022 at least 54% or half of the global workforce need reskill and upskill, because there will be a lot of works if they go replaced by technology and AI. And probably digital disruption brands, including about the media, education, energy, and healthcare, which will be replaced by digital media, education technology, sustainable energy, and biotechnology, and also a new skill for the new workforce. IBM has made a report on labor stating that more than 120 million workers around the world need to develop new skills. In addition, must develop the ability to adapt time management and together work as a team. As I told you, new skills need to depend on collaborative communication. You need to good to send out the message for the good communication, and after that collaboration is must be easy for everyone, every workplace, every organization. And for this skill, McKinsey agree that's technology skill, social skill. Social skill is including communication and sympathy. Sympathy is also in the first step of not sympathy, empathy. Empathy in the first step of design thinking. I will tell you in the next 10 slide. Okay, for the design thinking. And for the social skill must be improved, and critical thinking skill to allow key workers to make things at least AI cannot do. And also, I will show you about what's important skill in modern world. The five important skill in modern world. The first one is the language. The second one is using computer, how you connecting with the computer, how good you are in computer or excellent. So as myself, I need to practice about using computer a lot properly. For my phone, I bought is like 3,000 baht, but I use only 300 baht, something like that. For using computer, you need to friendly with the computer also. And the next one of important skill is like analytical calculation. And the next one is communication, interaction or interactive communication. Need to be a good communication. If you have the good access or good internet, so save your time to traveling, and you have more time with your family in COVID-19, I think, because everything locked down, we stay at home and we have more time together with our family. So that's good. And the last one for the important skill is like, but also have necessary secondary skill also. This one is very important skill because secondary skill everywhere or everybody needs to learn or share the secondary skill. Otherwise, if you have only one skill or main skill, so you will not update, and maybe same as the software, we need to update software like every maybe 1 month or every update about the computer or something like that. This one is also necessary for secondary skill for people, for employee, and for leadership also. The main course of this is the main subject in human resource management also. And by interesting additional areas such as the first one, salesperson. Second one is like high care for sick people, old people, teaching, driving part-time, food waiter, gig workers. And for the next one is like for certification factor, for three motivation. This one, the first thing you need to think about is certification factor for motivation. Step one, you need to create a balance in life and work. Work hard and play hard and belong together. You need to balance yourself with the work. Otherwise, you're gonna get the pressure and your work is not good enough also. And the next one is receive sufficiency compensation and have receive support from management, having training to improve skill, and the last channel, last certification for motivation is get a new opportunity, such as myself. Nowadays, I get new opportunity to promote myself, to sharing my knowledge for better practice for me too, because this one is new skill for me. If we talk about new skill and re-skill, this one is re-skill for me also for nowadays. And for the next slide, I would like to show you about the key factor that motivate. But aside from being satisfied with words, there are key factors that motivate you to want to work, including career advancement. The first one, the second one, increase salary and benefits. And last one, better works, balance. You need to do a better works. As I told you, like the work-life balance. You need to work hard, pay hard, get more money and travel, not only saving a cost, because the life is so short, so you have to be happy life, something like that. Sorry, just 2 minutes. Okay, let's go to the up skill. I would like to tell you or declare somehow different between upskill and reskill. For the first, upskill first. Upskill, it means professional today need to invest in upskills. Upskilling as a relevant course ensure that you adapt to the gap in your knowledge or skill, especially after career space and leverage it to grow in your career. This one said by Dina Jahan, Assistant Professor, Human Resource Management at HP, J School of Global Management, Singapore. This one I would like to show you about, for example, myself, I probably work only in Thailand University, only my university. So, but nowadays, it's not enough. I need to upskill myself, such as do less get more, learn another course or public speaker, like today. The thing that I learned to share my productivity, such as transform organization, also sharing my knowledge. This course is upskill, something I never learned before. Upskill such as graduate human resource management for bachelor, master, and PhD. But I would like to upskill myself. Maybe one day I wake up and I would like to change my career path or same career path, but the other thing not researcher. So I go to maybe some AI school, some like production engineering to upskill, and maybe I go to learn about the Chinese language. This one is called upskill because we have MOU with the China university in a lot of university in China. So if I would like to upskill, I will go to Chinese go to Chinese language center to learn about the Chinese, to connect the professor from China, something like that. This one we call upskill in the same area, but it cannot be professor in the future. But for the oh, sorry. Oh, this one upskill. Upskill is can be professor in the future. That's one definition I told you is about reskill, new skill. Sorry, but for upskill is mean if I want to be the promote to the professor in the future. Nowadays I'm associate professor, but last 5 years ago or 7 years ago, I'm still assistant professor, and I got the upskill, so I need to publish my paper or publication my paper in Scopart or Web of Science to count the performance to be the professor in the future. But if I'm invitation as the guest speaker like a day, such as today, this one we call new skill, not upskill, because it's like in our university we not count for promote to be the professor, but this one nowadays I like public speaker. Public speaker in my career path or in my job is mean new skill. New skill cannot be professor, but upskill is answer for professor in the future for the professional, not only in the lecturer in university, is also in other career also. Upskill in the same area or same, for example, if we graduate for production engineering, you need to study statistics 1, statistics 2, or something like that. Is continue chapter by chapter, is upskill, but new skill is something new you never know, but also cannot be professional or get more money in the future, because the professional focus on upskill. Okay, and constantly upskill and update. You need to I always repeat you again and again that is all about collaboration. And the next thing, the power of the web. You need to research, you need to Google it, you need to go to Google Scholar to find about the research, find about the process, find about the knowledge that you never know before. And the step 3 is go to old school, connecting with the people or your old friends, because your old friend is like maybe they go up to be like the big power and big money. So the connecting is very, very important for the skill to updating. And the next one is John Mock the MOOC, MOOC. It's like free course everywhere nowadays. During the COVID-19 or before. So don't forget to learning online or something like that. And the next step is knowing where you are going. What is the position? What is a special skill or more soft skill that you need to learn more or you need to research for developing yourself or for the better me or something like that. And the last step is very, very important, because you need to ask for help for everyone, such as myself. I always confused for the computer or internet or connecting with the online people or something like that, I always ask about my student to do or to updating about my computer or my mobile. Always don't be shy or don't be afraid. Everyone needs to learn every day for my concept. Okay, and let's start and let's go to the design thinking. For the design thinking, this is the important subject or important topic in Thailand. In every bachelor, master, PhD, or primary school, high school, we input this subject, design thinking, such as the main course or foundation subject for every young Thai people to think about the design thinking. Design thinking is not the new concept or new idea, but it's applied. I think it's applied for architecture, for Stanford, the school thinking process. As you know, design thinking, the first school or first university think about this subject is from Stanford. So what does Stanford is have the six types of design thinking, but properly, if in the first 20th century, not 21st century, 20th century, we have only three steps for the design thinking. Design thinking, for easy understanding, is related to human center or customer centric. You need to rethinking about the concept that you have learned before. You need to reframe or you need to think out of box of design thinking. Design thinking is concerned about the user experience, about the customer center. You need to make people want, but not make people want a thing. Make thing people want, but not make people want a thing. So hopefully, is design thinking have like three concepts from past. The first step to understanding, ideation, and prototype. That's all. And but now, 21st century, we change or we reframe or reconcept about design thinking from the Stanford. Stanford is design the step for design thinking as 6 steps. First step is empathy. Empathy is mean understand the human center, what are pain point or what is the pain point of customer, what are the pain point, user experience. Yes, so empathy, you need to concern or the step 1 inputting, the first one interview, second one shadowing. The next step is seeking to understand and not judgmental. Don't just understand and interview. Ask more, ask a lot, maybe 1,000 questions, and also understanding is very important for empathy. You need to concerned about the user experience, empathize about the customer, not sympathize, uh, not pretend to be customer, but you inside customer. That's why the concept of empathize. This is the concept of empathize. And the step 2 is like define. What is the define? Define is personal, low objective, decision, challenge, pain point. What is the pain point of customer? What is what are six of this product, something like that. So need to define, put it on the whiteboard or something like that. And then the next step is ideate. Ideate, share the area. Share the area is in collaboration, right? Work as a team, brainstorming, share our idea wordly, diverse, converse, yes, and thinking priority. This one is the first priority or something like that. And summarize for the critical thinking. This idea is for reframe for critical thinking, things out of box, things that as you inside customer is ideate. Put it on the whiteboard. Too many put it and ideate. The best result or the best idea. And the next step is like prototype. Prototype is inputting. This step for the prototype inputting, the first one mock up, second one storyboard. Keep it simple, simple. Keep it simple. Fail fast. If you fail fast, you can start at the beginning step. So you need to fail fast, iterate quickly. This is the there are those things in prototype at the step 5. And the last step is test. It test, it means understanding impediments, understanding the path, the way, and the design, how it failed, and start again for the safe course or something like that. What works, what did not work, and okay, iterate quickly. This is very important for the test. You need fail fast and get up fast also. That's why if fail idea is very good thing in design thinking. So hopefully all the concept of design thinking, I think the think out of box and critical thinking is very, very important because you need to think about someone that you never be before, or someone you someday, or you just like the experienced user, or you just inside the customer. And this is one for all the design thinking for the concept. And this one Google is as the 21st century skill. This is I Google it, and this is very, very good example for design thinking. Also from Sean when Gendarens write this understanding for design thinking for necessary skill for 21st century. So I refer YouTube from Sean where when Gendarens for a little bit 2 minutes. Okay. This one I show you about what design thinking.
problems. Design thinking encourages people to explore alternatives, creating options that had not existed before. Design thinking is successful because it focuses on the needs of the user. It's more than just good ergonomics. It's about understanding the context and culture.
Okay, that's one for the easy understanding for the concept of design thinking. So, I focusing for the first step. Everything if the step first, the step one you put, so later on it's gonna be good also. So I would like to comparative about sympathy and empathize and sympathize. For the design thinking, we need to empathize the customer, understand the problem of the pain point of the user experience. So difference about sympathize and empathize is or the ideas for the empathize is I feel how you difference because in design thinking we use empathize not sympathize. For easy example, I want to show you about. I would like to tell you about the empathize, such as if one day one of my best friends broken heart. So if I empathize, I will sit sit next to her and crying beside of her because I feel what her feel. But for sympathize is I will walk into her and I will show her like just move on. Look for the other guy, too many guys in this world, something like that. This one easy example that I show you. And for this one is a little bit for introduction of Thailand 4.0. Probably nowadays we in evolution or we in innovation era. So what is Thailand 4.5 for our nation plans? Nation plan for 20 years. Our government write the roadmap for the next 20 years about the smart industrial, smart city, and smart people that we focus input in the roadmap of the nation plan for the smart people. Yes, for the Thailand 4.0, our government focus a lot and invest a lot of money to develop the people and the program in human resource to improve soft skill for the people in nation. And Thailand, for example, I would like to show you about Thailand 1.0, Thailand 2.0. Thailand 3.0 and Thailand 4.0. Thailand 1.0 is about agriculture. Thailand and for the Thailand 3.0 is about heavy industrial as one machine. And for the last thing nowadays and maybe next to 20 years, it's about creativity, creating, innovation and smart Thailand. Okay, properly. That's one. I think we finished because it's next slide is all about the Thailand or innovation or improve our staff in Thailand or something like that. So thank you so much for your time, for your attendance. Okay. If you have any question or any something that I can answer, I will answer. Okay. So
Ma'am,
thank you so much for
yeah,
inviting me today about the sharing about my knowledge. I'm very, very happy and it's honor. Seriously. Thank you so much.
thank you.
And if India is my second hit or something like that. And hopefully, if my accent is so strong, Thai accent, so I'm sorry about that, but I'm improve myself.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your kind of beautiful
I can't hear
speech.
you.
Deputy in Computer Science Department from Sangam University, Bhilwara, Rajasthan, for vote of thanks. Dr. Sunil sir.
Hello, I can't hear. Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not hear you.
Now I'd like to invite Dr. Sunil Kumar sir for his vote of thanks towards our program.
Yes, Kuntalji.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah. It's audible. It's audible. Yeah, it's audible. Sunil sir, it's audible. Okay. Hello. Come for. Hello, sir. Sunil sir. Hello, Sunil sir.
Hello.
Yeah, it's audible.
Are you able to hear me, Kuntalji?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. But due to time constant, I'm not able to describe that study. That was a very famous research, which was done in the Stanford University. So directly have been asked and propose a vote of thanks on this webinar. I, on the behalf of Sangam University and Department of Computer Science, extend a very heartily thanks to the Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor K.P. Yadav, who bless us with their presence and took out valuable time for your very busy schedule, providing encouragement and support. Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful to Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor K.P. Yadav for giving us a opportunity to organize this event. Once again, thank you, sir. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Professor Akhilesh Kumar for his wonderful speech, where he mentioned some latest technological trend, IoT, artificial intelligence, and objective-based model of learning. The way he explained that was fantastic. Once again, thank you, sir. Member IEEE BCC of Central South University, China, Mrs. Evangelia Vasalko, international speaker and academic advisor at Dr. Bharat Mol, Mrs. Sari, associate professor, King Mongkut University. In the spite of heavy schedule, they accepted to grace today function for making excellent presentation and making this seminar interesting and meaningful. I'm really grateful to you. It's honor to have you. Once again, thank you all. I'm sure that all the participants to be initialized at their level. Once again, thank you. Also, I would like to extend a special thanks to Dr. O.P. Gupta, Registrar Sangam University, sir. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir. I express my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Kuntal Barua, Organizing Secretary, and Saurabh Sen for his technical support. I would like to thank the organizing team, staff member, student, and all the audience and listener. Thank you once again. As you know, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheel start rolling week ago. It required planning and bird's eye on the detail, as no program can be become successful with a single person. So I extend my big thanks to my making this webinar successful with your contribution. Once again, thank you everyone. Thank you, Registrar sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, UD sir. Thank you.
Ended our program. So I will definitely share all the pictures and all the recorded videos to you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Celestine sir. Thank you, Evangela ma'am. Thank you, Varakon ma'am. Thank you so much. We would like to have your presence over here, and we are expecting that our academic and research collaborations to your organizations also, so that our not only ours, both of our team members, students may have their beautiful experience over the life, how they have to survive over the world, and how they have to enhance their curriculum, right? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Evangela ma'am. It was a great lecture.
Akhilesh sir, thank you.
ठीक है ना? Thank you, Sunil. Thank you very much. Bye.